Aloha! This version of Treadway Makes Drinks, I'm coming off the beach. Just kidding, I'm in the back bar parking lot. Let's go make a drink. But like, what is Tiki? Is Tiki the shirt?
So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Is Tiki a bunch of fruit in crazy Tiki mugs? Is it spices? Is it just anything with crushed ice? Meh. A little bit of yes, a little bit of no. Somehow a combination of all of them together. So let's talk about where Tiki came from. Tiki comes from the 1930s, the Great Depression. There's a guy, Don Beach.
If that even is your real name.
His given name was Ernest Beaumont Gantz. He ended up legally changing that name to Don Beach.
A little on the nose, don't you think?
And he opened up Don the Beachcombers. This is a young man who at least claimed to have traveled the world multiple times over. Not sure how much traveling he actually was able to do, but he basically wanted to pull from his travels of Southeast Asia, maybe the Caribbean, and create an escape for his guests. So he had nets on the wall, he had flora and fauna and all sorts of fun stuff going on, and his drinks were out of this world. They were so different, so unique, and that's what makes Tiki Tiki. Is a little bit of everything. This escapist vibe of trying to get out of the fact that you're in the Great Depression, you just got done with Prohibition, you're ready to drink, and you want to drink somewhere fun. You want to get away for a little bit, even though you're only there for an hour or two. You want some barstool travel to feel like you're somewhere different. In the 2021 vibe, yeah, he was cultural appropriation. He was stealing ideas from other places. There's ways to enjoy Tiki without invoking that, and there's ways to be insensitive. This Tiki mug, for example, is terrible. You don't want this. This is a bad idea. Nothing that kind of is exploitative of Pacific Islander culture. Get rid of that. But you can have some fun with, you know, ceramic Tiki mugs, all sorts of fun shapes and sizes. You can have fun straws, hopefully reusable straws instead of wasting plastic. How did this become such a phenomenon? Well, the drinks were truly out of this world. The flavors he was creating, he was pulling these tropical flavors that people hadn't had before. He was using fresh ingredients to create really unique, complex drinks. Were well balanced, well thought about, that weren't overly sweet, was using multiple rums in one drink. This is like never been heard of. You wouldn't make old fashioned with two different types of whiskey, but he realized that the rum world had a lot of different flavors going on from different cultures all over the Caribbean. Instead of using just one rum, he could use multiple rums from different regions and get a very unique, complex flavor from those rums. So he had blends of rums, he had fresh, fruity ingredients balanced together to make super unique cocktails for the time. He was also kind of making it up. He, again, was trying to create this vague, maybe South Pacific type of vibe. So he brought in Asian flavors. He was kind of making his restaurants have a little bit of like Chinese American cuisine. That's where we get crab rangoon. Crab rangoon isn't Chinese. It was just made up in California. He was doing this in West Hollywood, super popular. Fast forward to the 1940s, some people wanted to copy his idea. There was a guy named Victor Bergeron, and he had a bar called Hinky Dinks in Oakland. And as you imagine by that name, Hinky Dinks, it wasn't doing too well. He saw this tiki bar in LA, he was like, whoa, that looks amazing. I'm just gonna come back to Oakland and change my bar, change my name. I'm gonna be Trader Vic's. This is Trader Vic's. Boom! The most successful chain of tiki restaurants on the planet, Trader Vic's. And what were these drinks? Well, We still know plenty of them today. You've probably heard of a zombie. Zombie takes multiple layers of rum, some very high proof rum, and balanced with cinnamon, falernum, which is a spice liqueur from Barbados, fresh lime, fresh grapefruit, a little bit of absinthe for, intrigue, and, it makes for a potent beverage, but it's like super delicious. Another classic, Trader Vic came up with the Mai Tai. Arguably, he stole the recipe from Don the Beach. Hard to say. Who are you gonna believe? I don't know. But the Trader Vic Mai Tai from 1944, 4 ingredients: aged rum, lime, orgeat, which is a French almond syrup, and curacao, an orange liqueur. Delicious combination. So what makes a tiki drink a tiki drink? It's kind of a little bit of everything. I know plenty of bartenders that have come up with a tiki old fashioned where they use rum as the base and then they threw in some spices and maybe like garnished it with lime instead of lemon, and then they made that kind of feel like it was a tiki drink. On the other hand, there's plenty of refreshing drinks that don't involve tropical ingredients but somehow still have a tiki vibe because they have a certain spice or they have a certain presentation. You could serve a beer in one of these tiki mugs. Would it magically become a tiki drink? No, not really. But you definitely can kind of play with a few different elements to create what in your mind is a tiki drink. Obviously, it's a little bit in the eye of the beholder. If the bartender tells you it's a tiki drink, you'll probably believe them. And is there any definitive, this is tiki, this is not? No. Have fun with it. Play with tropical flavors, play with spice flavors, play with a blend of rums or a blend of whiskeys. The sky's the limit, and you definitely want to incorporate some of these elements. Invent your own tiki style. For me, one of my favorite creations, we call it the Donkey Kong, where we took some tropical flavors of pineapple and of course banana for the legendary Nintendo character Donkey Kong. Then a little bit of cinnamon spice, some fresh lime, and a blend of rums. First we need some fresh lime, about a ½ ounce of fresh lime. Now I need some fresh pineapple. Wish I could just like Hulk smash this into some juice.
I think it's gratuitous, but whatever.
But I took care of that with a blender. I got fresh pineapple right here, an ounce of fresh pineapple. Of course you can use Dole or something else, but be mindful that products like that are gonna be a little bit sweeter, so always go a little bit less than a recipe calls for. And then of course you can add more in later if you want to sweeten it up, but be careful with some of those canned pineapple products. All right, so banana for my monkey friend Donkey Kong. I love Giffard banana, has a nice bright flavor. 3/4 ounce of that. Then a little bit of cinnamon syrup, so balancing sweet and tart. Just a 1/4 ounce is gonna add a little bit of that spice note. And then for the rums, I like to use a blend of, technically not rum, this is cachaça. This is Avoa Cachaça Ambarana, which it's aged in Brazilian wood that's called Ambarana, and it adds a really nice woody spice note. An ounce of that, and then balancing, that's kind of little baking spices with a nice rich rum from Guyana, Eldorado 12 year. So now I'm gonna shake this up. Tiki drinks are often served on ice. One, because it's a mental thing. You see all that crushed ice mounted up, it just seems so refreshing and you get really excited about what you're about to enjoy, a nice cold beverage. But also, Tiki drinks have a lot of booze, and they have a lot of kind of sweet juices in there as well. So having it be a very cold drink actually mutes some of those intensity of those flavors. So you can have a drink with lots of rum and high proof and also a lot of sweetener, but if it's served on crushed ice, it balances out and mellows out some of those intense flavors. I like to use reusable straws whenever possible. Of course, if you wanted to go nuts and have a fun, wacky straw in there, you can. I'm just gonna garnish this with some Angostura bitters. Kind of with my skull friend here, it looks like his brains are coming out, kind of fun. Then I need to emphasize that cinnamon note. And just sticking a cinnamon stick in there, sure, that gets the job done somewhat, but I want to get the aromas going. So I burn the cinnamon for a nice, beautiful smell. And again, this has a lot of different elements that make it tiki-ish. You have a fun presentation. Don the Beach loved to create epic, elaborate garnishes because it was part of making people escape. They got these drinks that looked like nothing they'd ever had before. So part of it's the presentation. Part of it's, in this case, using a blend of rums. You don't have to use rum, but fits the bill. I have some tropical flavors in there. I have some spice notes. So in my mind, quintessential tiki drink right here, the Donkey Kong. Cheers. That is really good. That goes down a little too easy. Tiki, fun drinks.